So welcome guys, we have another Armageddon game, and this is the final of the London Super Blitz. We have an English opening with white pieces David Howell, with black pieces Eduardo Iturrizaga, who we saw won a nice Armageddon game in the quarterfinal. And we have an English opening with bishop f5. So these guys already played 2 games with 2 draws, so this is a clear deciding game, an Armageddon game. White has more time but has to win, and black keeps draw odds. It's very interesting that Iturrizaga beat Spielmann in the semi-final. So the final of this London Super Blitz was almost the same as the final of the Ginger GM Crypt Blitz. Of course, I bring that to your attention because I came third in that tournament. But this tournament was really strong. They had plenty of groups with 2 players advancing, and around 50 players advanced. And they played sort of a preliminary round and then a round of 32. And now we have the final. And we have a kind of quiet English opening. White is keeping everything close to his vest, playing quite solidly and dynamically. And now we see bishop e6 by black. He can afford to take his time here. He wants to push f5. So yeah, black seems to have a rather harmonious position. So white taking his time here, using some of his time edge. As we mentioned, white has a time edge because it's an Armageddon game. White must win. Rook a to c1, f5. Black is claiming some space. Now knight d2. This opens up for the bishop on the long diagonal. Quick rook b8 by black. And this is not so much to protect the pawn on b7, but to prepare to advance on the queen side. f4 by white, and king h7 was played. Black reacting quickly, putting pressure on white. Seems to be harder for white to come up with a plan here. Black has the pawn breaks, a6, b5, easy to play. Now bishop f3. Seems like white wants to double on the diagonal, but doesn't really bring anything special. Bishop has to move back to a1. And now what to do? We take on b4. It seems that black has some targets in white's position. He could take with a rook or probably with a knight. And then white has some tender points to take care of in his position. So he plays knight e5. But this allows black to take on a3. So after the knight capture on e7, white is actually down a pawn. But bishop c3, he might be preparing to win the pawn with at some stage rook a1 takes a3, and then he has pressure down the a file. But the tactical problem is once you move the rook, black can play e4, which wins material. So white must prepare it better. Rook c8. Probably okay, queen e2 is played. So probably he wants to add some defenders to the potentially vulnerable pawns on e5 and c5. So probably black is preparing at some point to play d5. Trying to break up in the position. Queen g7. Still putting pressure on white. Bishop back to g2. This eliminates any e4 ideas, because the tactic we mentioned earlier was e4, which would have hit the bishop with a tempo. But this is a little bit of back. Oh, d5. 4 points in the center, and black is putting the pressure on white here. He's certainly not playing for a draw, black, but draw would be sufficient. So what does white do here? If you exchange too many pieces, then picking up a pawn on a3 could be problematic because you have less pieces to defend your own weaknesses. Howell goes with knight f3. This of course threatens the pawn on e5, but black has an option, so he can push e4 or d4. He goes with e4. And now what to do? Probably have to move the knight to e5. If white had taken on e4, his light squared bishop would become quite bad, but now Iturrizaga is picking up another pawn. So things are getting hairy here. Rook after d1. Perhaps trying to get some activity on the central files. But he takes d3. Does black have everything under control? Rook takes d3. And pawn takes c4. A lot of pawns falling. Quick rook d2. So 7 pawns for black against only 4. So what to do here? White needs to find some play, otherwise the material will count. Even though these are 2 double pawns, they are all passed. So white needs to find some play. Okay, lashes out on the king side, h4. Trying to make something happen on the king side. It's a logical plan. A little frown there by Iturrizaga. Eventually he goes with h5. Doesn't want to take any chances on the king side. It does allow a potential light maneuver to g5, but on its own it doesn't really do anything. White doesn't have many pieces to support the attack. King h2. Getting the king out of harm's way, but this looks a little slow. Now knight d5. And queen takes c4. Okay, if knight takes on either e3 or c3, we can take with the queen on e6, capture the bishop, and then g6 will hang. So black has to be careful. Plus we're attacking the rook, and we have 3 attacks on d5. But does he find the solution? Rook takes c3. Do we no! Knight takes f. Oh, what a shot! What a shot! Yeah, the thing is, if you take on f4, I take your rook on d2. The rook will hang, and the immediate problem is that the white queen is hanging. So a nice shot there by Iturrizaga. Is this enough to win the game? It just might be. See, queen takes c5 by Howell. Rook takes c5, rook takes d2, g takes f4. Pawn to a2. The white rook must go behind it so that the pawn doesn't queen. Now Iturrizaga looks up as if he's double checking something in his head, and then bishop d5. White can't do anything about this. g2 is hanging, and if you take on d5, black will make, and you will simply recapture on d5 and make a new queen. So round of applause. Iturrizaga wins the London Super Blitz. See you later, guys.